The Gulf War was a significant military conflict that took place in the Middle East from August 1990 to February 1991. The war was fought between Iraq and a coalition of 35 countries, led by the United States, in response to Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. The conflict had far-reaching consequences for the Middle East and the world, and its legacy is still being felt today. The Gulf War began on the 2nd of August 1990, when Iraq, under the leadership of Saddam Hussein, invaded and occupied Kuwait. Iraq claimed that Kuwait was historically a part of Iraq and accused Kuwait of stealing oil from Iraq by slant drilling. Iraq demanded that Kuwait forgive its war debt, but when Kuwait refused, Iraq launched a full-scale invasion. Iraq's aggression sparked international outrage, and the United Nations Security Council issued a resolution demanding Iraq withdraw its forces from Kuwait. Iraq refused, and the United States and its allies began planning for military action. The United States also took steps to protect its oil interests in the region, which were threatened by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. The Gulf War began on the 17th of January 1991, with a massive aerial bombardment of Iraqi military targets by the coalition forces. The coalition forces, led by General Norman Schwarzkopf, quickly overwhelmed the Iraqi military with their superior firepower, technology, and training. The coalition forces consisted of troops from the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and other nations, including several Arab countries such as Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and Egypt. The air campaign was designed to weaken the Iraqi military by destroying its command and control centers, communications infrastructure, and weapons depots. Coalition forces dropped more than 88,000 tons of bombs on Iraq, including precision-guided munitions, which were a relatively new technology at the time. The coalition forces also targeted Iraqi air defenses, destroying their radar and anti-aircraft missile sites. The ground offensive began on the 24th of February, which lasted just 100 hours and led to the liberation of Kuwait. The coalition forces quickly advanced and surrounded the Iraqi army, trapping them in Kuwait. The Iraqis were forced to surrender, and the war ended on the 28th of February 1991, with a ceasefire agreement. The Gulf War had significant consequences for the Middle East and the world. The most immediate consequence was the liberation of Kuwait, which was seen as a victory for the coalition forces. The war also strengthened the United States' position as the world's dominant military power. The Gulf War also had a significant impact on Iraq. The country suffered significant damage to its infrastructure, including its oil industry, power plants, and transportation networks. The war also had a devastating impact on the Iraqi people, who suffered from food and medicine shortages due to the economic sanctions imposed by the United Nations. The Gulf War also set the stage for future conflicts in the Middle East. Many of the issues that led to the war, including territorial disputes and oil resources, remained unresolved. The war also created a power vacuum in the region, with Iraq weakened and vulnerable to internal and external threats. The Gulf War also had important implications for the international community. The war demonstrated the ability of a multinational coalition to take military action against an aggressor nation. It also set the precedent for future military interventions, such as the NATO-led intervention in Kosovo in 1999. The Gulf War also had a lasting impact on the United States. The war demonstrated the importance of technology and modern warfare, with the use of precision-guided munitions and other advanced weapons. The war also highlighted the importance of international alliances and the role of the United States as a global military power. The Gulf War also had significant implications for the Middle East. The war reinforced the divide between Sunni and Shia Muslims and the tensions between Iraq and its Arab neighbors. It also fueled anti-American sentiment in the region, as many Arabs saw the war as an example of Western aggression against an Arab country. The Gulf War also had implications for global politics. The war brought attention to the issue of energy security and the importance of the Middle East as a major oil-producing region. The war also highlighted the importance of the United Nations as a forum for resolving international disputes and the limitations of military force as a solution to complex political problems. In conclusion, the Gulf War was a significant military conflict that had far-reaching consequences for the Middle East and the world. The war was fought in response to Iraq's invasion of Kuwait and was led by a coalition of 35 countries, including the United States. The war was marked by a massive aerial bombardment campaign followed by a swift ground offensive that led to the liberation of Kuwait. The war had significant implications for the Middle East, the United States, and the international community, including the reinforcement of Sunni Shia tensions and the role of the United Nations in resolving international disputes. The legacy of the Gulf War is still being felt today, and its impact on global politics and the Middle East will continue to be studied and debated for years to come. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe and check out other videos on our channel. Thanks for watching.